Hey team, you're watching Hide and Sneaks and I don't want to jinx it, but we might be going back to a Nike basketball renaissance because they're putting all of the right effort and energy behind All-Star Weekend. And they're doing that by releasing some fantastically themed pairs and elevating a number of their athletes on some of their most popular and latest models. And that's what's created the Warning Label Pack. 10 fantastic pairs, consistent theming, and a real elevated look that actually makes us excited to see basketball sneakers again at All-Star Weekend, other than Jordans for a change. And I'm so pleased to see that Nike is having their faith and backing themselves with this theming. So there's 10 pairs, let's go through all of them and then I'll rank them at the end. So the first pair in the lineup was one of 4 that was released, and Nike's done a fantastic job at creating a level of hype so we can see the pairs, get interested in them, and then start teasing the new ones. One of the first 4 was this pair here, the KD18 Warning Label, and there's a lot to like about this particular shoe. Now first things first, there's a couple consistent traits they applied across all of the Warning Label pack. One of them, of course, was the two-tone upper. You have the base color of the shoe and almost like a holographic prism effect where you see a second color in the mix. Now with the KD18, that is a green base with a blue accent color. I don't know if it's meant to be a nod to chemicals or if it's something just to be a little bit like radioactive or unique, but all in all, it does create a really unique take on the shoe. Now we have seen solid metallic colors on the KD18 before. There's that blue pair that looked fantastic, but it has nothing on this pair. This pair to me just looks a bit more elevated and complicated, and I really do like it for that. Another feature on the Warning Label series is the shoelace charms, and I'm a bit mixed on the actual overall purpose of this, and I'm mixed because of some of them athletes actually have shoelace charms that relate to their own personal brand and nicknames, as opposed to what I think they also could be as an example of something that is an actual warning label. Now one of Kevin Durant's nicknames of course is the Slim Reaper, and since he's embraced that nickname, which took a little bit of time, he has started to play into that and had that sort of skeleton motif, which we've seen in some other pairs, including the recent one on the KD18 Halloweens. This, of course, though, is a nod to that, but I also think it could be a nod to a wider warning label, which is one of the most common ones you see, is the skeleton. Now, the skeleton can be known as dangerous, toxic, deadly, and I think that's quite a cool way of sort of tying in with the theme. As we move to some of the other pairs, it's going to be a little bit harder to work out, is the shoelace charm actually a nod to warning labels or the athlete? But in KD's case, it works so well for both, and I think it's something we should see on more of his models going forward. Moving on to our next pair, and we have the Nike Book 2. Now this is Devin Booker's latest model, and I think it's interesting because it's not interesting. Ultimately, some of the shoes in this lineup are insane and crazy and wild colors, and it just seems like a missed opportunity for Devin Booker, who has played it quite safe. So if we look at the outside of the shoe, obviously there is that orange-red two-tone. It's kind of quite a safe color scheme to choose because he plays the Phoenix Suns, so it plays into a lot of their colors. And to be fair, most athletes release pairs based on their team colors anyway, but this seemed like not the right opportunity to do that. Maybe it is a nod to Devin Booker's love of American classic cars and it's that sort of two-tone upper and he wanted something based on that. But ultimately, it just feels really safe compared to some of the others in the lineup, which seems odd because this is meant to be a really loud theme being the warning label. Now the shoelace charm on this pair is a scorpion. I have no idea what the idea behind this is meant to be. I'm not aware of anything associating Devin Booker with a scorpion. Maybe it's the fact he plays in Phoenix and there's deserts and there's scorpions in the deserts. Or maybe it backs up my idea of it being a warning label shoelace charm. When you think about scorpions, scorpions have been used before as an example to indicate something is venomous, give that sort of venom warning, so maybe there is a tie with that. Moving on to our third pair, and it's my favorite player in the league, Giannis, on the Nike Freak 7. And if I made some comments before about the Book 2s being a bit safe, Giannis did the exact opposite on his pair, and he went for the loudest color possible. Now, many of us know who collect Nikes that Volt is one of those colors that really stands out and is really bold and electric. So when you apply two-tone level upper to that, you put a shoelace charm on this, you add a shoe that has already quite wild lines, you're making a really loud pair. If we look at the shoe in relation to the Warning Label series, I would say that the two-tone on this is a green base with probably a gold or yellow two-tone upper. If we look at the shoelace charm on this one, it's a black wing, and there's not something that directly associates a black wing to Giannis. Maybe it's building off Greece and kind of a nod to Greek mythology, and there's some sort of tie in there. But what I also think it could be is an example of a health risk. Now, the reason I think the shoelace charm could be a recognition of health risk or bad health is because it has been used to indicate that as a warning label before. And the reason is the imagery of wings is heavily connected to the likes of the medical profession. If we think about the wand of Hermes is used as a common symbol throughout medical and healthcare, and it obviously features two wings as a positive trait. When you look up what black wings are, black wings is almost the inverse of that, the negative, the health risks, and I think that is another warning label. Moving on to our next pair, and we have our Nike Sabrina 3s in the warning label colorway. Now I've seen a lot of discussion for this one, that some people think it's themed after the Statue of Liberty. I personally don't think it's the case. I think it's very clearly just meant to be part of the warning label series. If we look at the shoe, it clearly has a two-tone upper with a teal base and then a yellow accent two-tone on top. And it has the other parts that we require from the warning label, which is that shoelace charm. Now, some people think the combination of the teal and the torch is representative of the Statue of Liberty. I just don't see Nike having gone that direction when they just did a Statue of Liberty pair on the Kobe 6s with Jalen Brunson only a few months ago. So for me, I do think this was always meant to be part of the warning label pack. And for me, I actually think that the torch represents nothing to do with the player associated to it, nothing to do with the Statue of Liberty, but instead I think it's actually reminiscent of a warning label for fire. That's a very common one we see. There is things that are flammable. So I do think this is intentionally meant to be something like a flammable example. So we get a collective 10 pairs that cover the bulk of the most common warning labels you'd experience. Now the fifth pair that was released online was the Nike Jar 3. And this was interesting because it wasn't shown and teased in the typical way we saw the other pairs. Actually, the first images we saw of this was almost like an in-hand leaked image. And the first four pairs got proper promo images showing the shoe from all the different angles, as well as clearly showing the shoelace charm and the specially designed packaging and case that it came in. The Nike Jar 3s, different story. They had leaked images online. It kind of showed the shoe. It didn't show the shoelace charm. There was nothing to do with packaging. And it was almost unclear if it was meant to be something that they were changing their mind on, possibly teasing more low profile, or it was an intentional strategy. Now it's kind of hard to know in general because Ja Morant is quite a controversial figure. He is an ambassador for Nike, but man, has he really made that relationship quite challenging. And I feel that the Nike PR department has definitely had a few last minute phone calls because of some of his antics. That said, the Jar 3 is a pair that I do have a lot of praise for in the way they handle collaborations and theming, and I think they've done a fantastic job here. Now, when I was researching this video, they hadn't yet shown what Jar's shoelace charm was, and I was really hoping that Nike was going to lean into the sort of tongue-in-cheek bad press of Ja Morant and actually do a warning label shoelace charm based on either ammunition, explosive, or guns. And they didn't seem to do that because I've now seen the images and it seems way more conservative. What they actually did go for is a shoelace charm that was meant to be sort of sharp teeth. I'm assuming it's warning of dogs or wild animals or something to that nature. So while it's not too bad, it's not really an exciting warning label or an obvious warning label and feels like a missed opportunity to do some good PR and spin one of the challenging Nike ambassadors. Moving into our next pair, and it's the Nike GT Cut 4, which is the pair worn by Wembanyama. He doesn't yet have his own signature shoe, but he has been wearing a lot of the GT Cut 4 series, so it makes sense that as part of the GT series, he's kind of their ambassador. Now, if we look at the upper of the shoe, the base color is white, and it's almost just like a prism effect. I wouldn't say it's one specific color. I think I'm seeing hints of blue, pink, reds, greens, so it's a whole multitude of colors in there, which ultimately makes the shoe feel very different from some of the other pairs in the lineup. It is though brought back by the fact that it does have a shoelace charm, and that shoelace charm is an alien head. Now, like KD, this is where it becomes a little bit more confusing because obviously Wembanyama, his nickname is known as the Alien, so the alien shoelace charm fits in nice with his nickname. But I do still think the intention of this is meant to be likening itself to a warning label symbol, so I think it is kind of the warning of aliens, and it's also a nod to warning that he's in the league and doing some crazy stuff. All right, moving on to our next pair, the LeBron 23 warning label. Now, it's not an all-star game without LeBron. While he may not be a starter this year, he's definitely bringing it when it comes to this warning label collaboration, and it's using the 23 to its absolute most potential. Now, the shoe itself looks incredibly elevated, and it's got a crocodile texture to it. It's got gold hits on it. It's a two-tone between gold and orange, and it just really stands out as being a pair that looks pretty premium compared to some of the others in this lineup. Now, if we look at the upper of the shoe, you can see it does have some two-tone treatment, the base being gold, and I'd say probably an orange two-tone, although it's hard to say from some of the images. The upper itself also has a texture on it that's got that kind of crocodile, animal-like reptilian feel, so it's definitely leaning into a very strong theming of that, and it's accentuated by the fact that it also has a shoelace charm, which is in line with the warning label series as we know, which is on this one, a lion's head. Now, a lion's head could be a nod to LeBron. Obviously, a lot of his past peers do use that lion's head imagery, being the king of the jungle and the king himself. But I do think that lion charm with the likes of the crocodile upper kind of does be a warning label for wild animals, that idea that their danger is there because of how dangerous wild animals can be, and it kind of builds off that sort of animal theming. Moving on to our next pair, and we've got the Nike R1 warning label. Now in this shoe, I don't have too much to say about this. I actually do like some of the shoes in this model, but this one I feel is pretty conservative for an R1 release. Like the Jar 3s, I wasn't sure what the overall shoelace charm was going to be because none of the images that had been shown online did show this. So I did get my thinking hat on and I looked at it, and the upper being that base pink with an accent of orange, almost the inverse of what we saw with the Book 2s. And that's when my brain kind of went to the thought of lasers. Now, if we think about the likes of some of the warning labels, lasers are one of the more common examples you tend to see because of the implications it could have in damaging people's eyes and the risks of that. So I thought we might see something in line with that. Now, at the time of recording this video this morning, I did see more recent images, and that showed the shoelace charm with these little stars. That could still support my theory of it being a laser warning symbol, or it could be something similar to that of an explosive warning symbol. Hard to say, but I'll let other people make the decision online. Moving on to our next pair, and we have the first ever release of the Nike Kobe 3 in a low treatment. Now, a lot of the early images of the shoe were very moody, very dark lit, and actually quite hard to see the shoe. So itself, it looked quite a matte purple, similar to what we saw on the Year of the Mamba pair last year on the eggplants. Now I've seen more recent images, and that is not the case at all, because in the old images, I really couldn't see what the two-tone take on this particular model was. In the more recent images, it is a purple base with a blue metallic two-tone upper. So it is very vibrant and loud in your face in a kind of muted way, if that somewhat makes sense. And we've also seen what the shoelace charm was, and it's not a surprise for me. I thought we were going to see a snake symbol, obviously a nod to being the black mamba, but it also supports my other theory, as we still see snakes used as images for warning labels around venom. So cool to see that nod there, and I do think the shoe has done a very good job at making a lesser loved Kobe model a lot more loved in that low treatment. Next up, we have the Nike GT Future. And if you haven't seen any of my sneaker videos for the 2025 Sneaker Awards, I'll put that in the description below. Look very highly about the Nike GT Future, its overall design, and its way to use and elevate block colors. Now, a lot of the colors we saw last year were real vibrant colors, focusing on blues, yellows, grays, and oranges. We didn't actually see the metallic treatment, and we're starting to see the metallic treatment this year. In February, the Copper Eggs released, so we are getting an example of that metallic treatment there. But on this one, we're getting more of a metallic metal treatment. You've got a base that's kind of silver with the accents of a purple and blue through it, so it does have a very magnetic effect. Now, in terms of the shoelace of this charm, it wasn't shown in first images, but it has since come out, and it is barbed wire. So it's warning people about the risks of barbed wire and kind of talking to that idea of the metallic metal and the sharp lines kind of being reminiscent and a nod to barbed wire. I was kind of surprised to see they went that direction in the first place. I kind of thought they would use the silhouette of the shoe more and the kind of metallic elevated lines, and possibly have a warning label for like a magnetic field. So to have it be barbed wire, I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity. However, great to see this in the lineup, and I do think I'm going to have to rank this one pretty highly. Okay, time to rank the Nike All-Star Warning Label series. Alright, starting off with 10th place, and I've got the Nike GT Cut 4, which is Wembanyama's pair. There's not a lot I like about the shoe. I think overall the pearlescent does look a little bit childish, and ultimately with the shape of the shoe and the material of the views on top, I think it's going to crack, break, and look really bad really quickly. Moving on to 9th place, and I've got the Nike R1s, and ultimately I don't like the shoe too much because I don't think it feels too much part of the overall warning label pack. This to me could be any women's sports sneaker release. Those orange and pink colors are very common as part of Nike women's running. So for me, it feels a bit boring, and 9th place seems appropriate. Moving on to 8th place, we've got the Nike Book 2s. Now I've got to hold this one back for a similar reason, that it does feel quite safe and a little bit boring compared to the warning label series. Ultimately, orange and pink are the colors of Phoenix, so Devin Booker could have done a lot more on this pair. So for me, definitely feels like a missed opportunity to do something really loud and cool at All-Star Weekend, so I've got to put it towards the bottom of the list. In 7th place, I've got the Nike Freak 7s. Now I really do like the fact that Giannis went all in on his pair and made it super themed towards the idea of radiation, chemicals, warning labels, whatever the sort of gist was, he made sure it was captured in this pair. But that's kind of the problem. It's almost too loud, it's almost too elevated for the theme that it doesn't necessarily make sense to wear in day-to-day life. Vault is already a really hard color to wear, but when you add a metallic tone to it, Vault Metallic is definitely not something you're going to be able to wear easily off court, so I've got to kind of put it towards the later part of this list. In sixth place, I've got the Sabrina 3s. The Sabrina 3s are quite clean. I do like a lot about the shoe. The problem is I almost feel like it's a worse version of the Kobe 6 Statue of Liberties, which only just came out. So for me, while there's a lot I like about the shoe, I think I like it just because it's similar to that other pair. In fifth place, I've got the KD18s. I really like the sneaker charm on this. It ties in well with both the theme and the player. The shoe itself isn't too bad. Green and blue works quite nicely. I don't think it's as good as some of the higher pairs on this list, but I still think it's a solid pair. In fourth place, I have the Nike Jar 3s. Now the Nike Jar 3s didn't have the same promo as the other pairs, but it is definitely one of the top pairs in the pack. There's some great treatment that's done to the shoe that makes it both loud but still very wearable. I like how they use the lines on the shoe to create almost the effect of caution tape, and I do think it's a very good pair to wear off court. In third place, we have the Kobe 3 Low Protros. The first time I've ever seen a Kobe 3 Low, and it's done really, really well. That purple, that blue is a fantastic color combination, and it feels really loud while also feeling really subtle. Hard to explain that sensation, but I love the fact that they've done that well on this pair. In second place, I have the Nike GT Futures, and it was a fantastic chance for Nike to apply a metallic upper treatment to such a cool model and elevate it at one of the best events of the year. And in first place, we have the LeBron 23. There's so much I love about the shoe. I love the gold hits. I love the crocodile texture applied to the upper of the shoe, the lace charm. It's such a great balance between the theme and the player, and definitely one of the pairs I would love to wear the most on the whole list. Well, there you go. We've made it to the end of the video. We've ranked the sneakers, we've discussed the sneakers. Now, all we need to do now is put them on the sneaker wall. Now, typically, if it was one pair, I would talk it through and give you the rating, but we've already done that, so I'm just gonna put all 10 on screen now. If you agree with them, please let me know, and if not, and you have a different order, either from ratings or the 1 to 10 rankings, please let me see that, because I'm really keen to see the viewers' thoughts. In the meantime, feel free to like and subscribe if you're not. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.